Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2020-21 season. My name is Dan and today I've got for you a team selection video for Game Week 28, including all things about my Game Week 27 scores, which let me tell you guys, it was an emotional one, a real emotional one. I will talk about that in a second. I'll tell you all my feelings about my team right now and just let you know how it's going. It's pretty wild, but we do continue to play the super aggressive, super high risk, high reward type FPL that is going to hopefully get us into the upper echelons of the ranks that we want to be in, really progress through the ranks. That's kind of been the plan for the past few weeks, and in general, it's been going pretty well, but we'll give you a good old update. But before we do, just a quick word from our sponsor today, which is, of course, OneFootball. OneFootball is, in my opinion, the best place to go for football stuff in general. Now, the way I use OneFootball is a mobile app / website. I like the mobile app because I like to check out the football scores for games I'm not watching. Now, primarily, as a lot of you guys will know, I use it to check out European football scores because I can't really watch all the European matches. But also, when there's a really boring game on in the Premier League, you don't want to watch it, but you want to check out what's going on. You want to know the lineups, you want to know who's playing, you want to know the scores, you want to know the stats, you want to know who's getting subbed on, who's getting subbed off. It's got all of that stuff, and that's my favourite thing about OneFootball. So, it's got all kind of football news and transfer gossip and stuff like that on there as well. So app / website, link in the top of my description. It's completely free, well worth checking out. Okay, so here it is, my Game Week 27 scores. Guys, you're probably not going to be too impressed. You're probably going to look at this and say, wow, this guy's just dropped 40k rank. You should be so miserable, Dan. Dan, you should be crying. I almost was. For a time I was, for sure. Literally, after Monday, I think I was down, my live rank was down to like 270,000 because it seemed to me like I had Murphy's game week. Everything that could conceivably go wrong had gone wrong. The only players who had got above 2 points were Martinez and Son, and the situation kind of was whereby I looked at my team and there's 10 top highly owned players, so the 10 most highly owned players. 7 of them I have, so I have 7 of the most highly owned players. All of those 7 players blanked, other than Martinez and Son, pretty low scores anyway. But the 3 of the 10 most owned players in the entire game that I don't have, and that's Bruno Fernandes, Kane and Creswell, all hauled. So all the popular players that I don't have hauled, and all the popular players that I do have failed. So it kind of was like, you know, is it a bit of a bad luck? Is my team bad? I don't think my team's bad. If I've got 7 out of 10 of the most popular players, then my team's still fairly template. It's just the fact that the template players that I don't have happen to be the players that scored really highly this game week. Now, it's a season-long game. It all rounds off in the end, so I'm not really too worried about that. But at the time, I was devastated. You know, I've got Digne on 0 points. I've got Cancelo on 1 point. Rafinha and Bamford blanking, Salah blanking again, Watkins blanking again. Son was like my saving grace with 5 points. I was on 20 net points at the end of Monday. 20 points. It was tragic. It really was tragic. And I was like, oh my God, guys, I've let you down. Because this is the thing. If I have a bad game week, it's fine. I usually think I can pick myself back up. But what I'm really scared about is facing you guys. And you guys thinking, whoa, that's a big rank drop. This guy can't know what he's talking about. It's not quite like that, but you know, I'm a little bit conscious because I don't want to let you guys down, and I do want to prove that this aggressive approach can work. And in general, I do think it has been working. And by the end of the game week, it actually turns out that the transfer moves that I made have actually gained me a lot of points this game week. So unless I was going to do a free hit in game week 27 or a wild card in game week 27 or something crazy like that, that would be the only way that I could do better than I've already done. You know, I've actually done really well. Bringing in KDB was a fantastic move. Bringing in Dunk, although it's not paid off in the short term, he's got the same amount of points as John Stones, who I took out anyway. And I'm set up with Dunk for game week 29 as well. So overall, I would have captained Gundogan as well. Instead, I moved captain to KDB because I brought him in. I've gained so many points from my transfers. But my team was just never going to score highly in game week 27. I thought it might. But on the day, as it turned out, it was never going to be a high-scoring game. And it's a good job I did make my risky progressive transfers because otherwise things could have been a lot worse. So at the end of the day, even though I dropped from 162,000 to 203,000, it really did look like it was going to be a lot worse for a time being. But KDB pulled through, did exactly what I hoped that he'd do. It's exactly why I captained him. Big haul in the game against Southampton, as I'd hope. I hope he played both games. And Southampton was obviously the game that I was targeting because they're just showing so many fragilities right now. They can't even stick to one goalkeeper. So it works. It didn't work as well as it could have done this game week. My transfers, on the other hand, they did work. They were good transfers. They were positive transfers. And there's not really anything else I could have done. My team was just supposedly not set up for that game week. It's just one of those game weeks. It's fine. It's fine. So we move on, and I'm not going to feel too negative. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It sucks that I've dropped 40,000 places, but I think I could catch them up quite quickly again. Let's see. So let's go on to my game week 28 team, how I'm going to line up and kind of get back into the game, I suppose. So we're going to start off with Martinez in goal. Pretty standard player. Everyone's got him. Nothing too interesting here. A bit of a hero. He's set to be one of the greatest ever FPL goalkeepers of all time, I think. He is seriously just insane. We love Martinez. We absolutely love Martinez. And, you know, the fact that he's up to 5.4 million now, he's at 40% owned right now. He's just soaring. He really is. He's just a must-have player, isn't he? So we'll move on to Cancelo, who is a little bit of a worry. I must admit, Cancelo is a little bit of a worry because it does seem that he is being rotated a little bit more. Add on to the fact that Man City don't play in game week 29. They've got a blank game week. They don't play in game week 33. They've got a blank game week. They've got Champions League football to play. Cancelo is already getting rotated a little bit. It seems like the rotation and the blank game weeks, there's not actually going to be as much football for Cancelo as I'd once hoped, to be honest. I still do think he's a fantastic football player, but at the end of the day, 6.2 million, if he's only playing once every other game, that's simply not good enough. It's really not good enough, considering you can get a lot more for your money there. So he is a concern, but the fact that he was rested against Southampton and Man City's next game is against Fulham suggests, you know, you get rested one game at Man City and then you play the next game for Man City. If you were rested last game, usually a good sign that you'll play the next game. So for Cancelo, this week, a keep for me. He plays against Fulham, not a very good attacking team, very good defence we've obviously got at Man City. We can get a nice clean sheet there. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So Cancelo is definitely a keep for this game week for me, but going into game week 29 where he blanks anyway, blanks again in 33, that's where I'm starting to think, okay, maybe that would be a good time to get rid of Cancelo. But for now, he's got to be kept. And you could say a sort of similar thing about maybe John Stones, maybe Raheem Sterling. Yeah, if they got rested last game week, probably a good sign, guys. So don't worry too much, but just be aware that you might want to get rid of him in the near future. Next up, Lukatinia. Dino obviously got 0 points last game week, which, I mean, I don't know if I should be too surprised by. The yellow card kind of sucked. The conceding 2 goals kind of sucked. But, you know, it was against Chelsea, so I couldn't expect too much. This week, we're against Burnley, a much better prospect, both from an attacking point of view and a defensive point of view. Burnley don't score a lot of goals, and they concede quite a few goals at the moment as well. So, actually, Dino whipping in those crosses, maybe taking set pieces if Sigurdsson is not on the pitch. Maybe potential defensive returns and attacking returns. Looks actually a really good game week for Dino. So happy to own him for this game week, that's for sure. Moving on to Dunk. We've got Dunk here, 4.9 million. I bought him in a last game week. Didn't go amazingly last game week. Brighton, once again, just seems so unlucky with their expected goals conceded. It's going to balance out eventually, guys. Southampton are in not ideal form, to be honest. So I do think there's potential for clean sheets here for Brighton. So we're going to double up with Ben White. So we've got 2 Brighton defenders. I have 2 Brighton defenders just to attack this game week 29 fixture against Newcastle. I think that's a bit of a differential for me in game week 29. But why not try out the differential this game week as well? My bench is not looking amazing this game week. And I'm sure a lot of you guys kind of feel the same way. That your bench is not perhaps looking amazing this game week. I think for a lot of people, it's just not a great week for benches, to be honest. But yeah, we're going to double up with Brighton. Hopefully, if they keep a clean sheet, I'm absolutely laughing. If Dunk can get a goal, you know, free kick or a header from a corner or something, I'm absolutely laughing. Let's see what happens there. But that's my differential. Double Brighton defence. It's absolutely lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. It's crazy. I know it's crazy. But at the end of the day, it wasn't long ago where Brighton were keeping, you know, 4 or 5 clean sheets all in a row. So they will come back, those clean sheets. I am sure about that. They will come back. Hopefully it comes back pretty soon. Otherwise, I might be in a little bit of trouble. But anyway, let's move on to the midfield. And we've got Mo Salah here against Wolves. Now, if you're a fan of underlying stats, this looks really good. So Wolves, according to what I've sort of interpreted, Wolves are the second worst defence in the league right now on expected goals conceded. They're not doing great defensively. They're really not. Second worst. That's pretty bad. Salah, his underlying stats look pretty good. He's not actually performing against those expected stats. He's not actually getting the goals that he's expected to get. He's not actually getting the assists that he's expected to get, but he's shooting a lot. He should be getting goals. It's just not been happening. He also scored in the Champions League. But is that a little bit misleading, perhaps? So on paper, this is really good, Salah against Wolves. It's really good. It's really nice. I don't expect Salah to be rotated either. I mean, I don't think he will be. There's a chance he will, but just based on the fact that this is, I believe, Liverpool's last game, or second to last game this month. They don't play again. That might even be true. They might even not play again after this game until all the way in April. I don't think they've got many games. They've got blank next game week. Yeah, I don't think they've got many games. So there might not actually have to be that much rotation for Salah and for Liverpool. So we'll see about that. Anyway, moving on to KDB against Fulham. A little bit of a hero of last game. We really pulled it out. I was really impressed. You know, even in the first game against Manchester United, KDB was creating a lot of chances. You know, Foden missed a chance that KDB teed up for him. You know, little bits like that. He was getting on the ball. He was on set pieces. It was nice to see, and it was positive. It was positive. Now, the issue here is that I continue to believe that Fulham is a bad fixture. I think Fulham are a decent defence. I don't know if I want to be attacking Fulham. You know, you look at the FPL app or the FPL website, and Fulham is listed as a green fixture. When you're for an attacking player, I don't think Fulham is a green fixture at all. Really, I really don't. So, yeah. It's tough because KDB is a fantastic player, and you back him against any opposition. But I'm not expecting a haul by any stretch of the imagination. But we'll see how that goes. Moving on to Son against Arsenal. You know, Spurs have this good record against Arsenal, but I feel like it's mostly Kane that has the good record against Arsenal. Son has got a reasonably good record against Arsenal, particularly in recent years. Very recent years, in fact. But I don't know. Arsenal are still fairly solid defensively. Spurs still do have some very clear fragilities, but they have performed very well, Spurs, against, you know, your likes of Crystal Palace and Burnley. But then you think, that was Crystal Palace and Burnley. It's kind of not quite the same as an in-form Arsenal team. But then Arsenal didn't do so well against Burnley. Fair enough, it's Arsenal's bogey team, but I don't know. I'm finding this fixture really difficult to call. If I had Kane, I'd be very confident because Kane just loves a game against Arsenal. Arsenal probably give away a penalty. Kane will score it. Kane might score another goal in some other way. But that's not the situation I find myself in. I've got Son. I haven't got Kane. Not so convinced by this one, to be honest. But I have no idea. I'm excited for the football game, but I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I really don't. So we'll move on to Gundogan, again against Fulham. This is I'm not really expecting anything at all from Gundogan against Fulham, if I'm honest. I'm really kind of not. Maybe 3 points. But the thing is, he's so highly owned, and he has been continuing to play well, really well, that I do want to own him. But he's not a player I would be thinking about captaining. So I am trying to try and cover captains a little bit as well, guys, in this video, as I always do. Moving on to Upfront, DCL against Burnley. Fantastic fixture. Terrible form from DCL. He's not been looking too hot recently. He really hasn't. It's a shame. Because he has got this fantastic fixture. And if he was in good form, I would probably be even thinking about captaining him. But the form is not quite there, but, you know, fingers crossed. There's a lot of us DCL owners. I'm sure we'll all be crossing our fingers and hoping for something. But Richarlison's kind of seems to be the main man really in that Everton attack right now, who's actually doing the business and looking really good, to be fair. So moving on to Watkins against Newcastle away. Really nice fixture. Again, how is Watkins going to play? Is he going to hit the crossbar again? Probably, knowing him. But it's a really good fixture. And he has been getting chances. Is he going to get the high quality chances? Maybe not. There's been a lack of high quality chances for Aston Villa as of late. And Watkins does kind of need the high quality chances because he's not the best finisher. But he has hit the woodwork so many times that it's kind of like, surely, eventually, one of these is going to go in. I really feel like it's got to happen. So, yeah, I am backing him. It's a good fixture. So, let's see what we can do. I'm pretty happy about that. So, let's go onto my bench. We've got Pope, Not going to play him really. Martinez far better fixture. And Burnley just not looking good defensively. The Burnley trap I found myself in is very much encasing me, and I can't wait to wildcard them out. Same with Ben Mee. Rafinha and Bamford against Chelsea. Chelsea just ridiculous defensively at the moment. They're just keeping clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. Really is quite crazy, isn't it? So, they are just going to be firmly on my bench with absolutely no expectation of Rafinha or Bamford getting any returns. So that is what my team looks like. 1 free transfer, nothing in the bank. But that's all right. Because I've basically got 2 schools of thought in terms of transfers. And I'm waiting for announcements. So I said before about a potential Aston Villa versus Everton fixture being rescheduled for game week 28. It's too late now. That's not going to happen. So that means that the Aston Villa versus Everton game still needs to be rescheduled somewhere to create a double game week for both Aston Villa and for Everton. When's that going to be rescheduled for? Possibly game week 30. In fact, actually looking relatively likely that that's going to be rescheduled for game week 30. Aston Villa versus Everton. So Aston Villa then and Everton will both have double game weeks in game week 30. Now I'm wildcarding in game week 31, so I can throw myself at this fixture, these double game week fixtures a little bit. On the other hand, I want Harry Kane for game week 29, and the way I'm going to do that really is going to have to be DCL and Salah out, in for Kane and then some other midfielder that I haven't decided on yet. That will be how to do it, and I don't really want to take hits for the sake of game week 29. I don't think game week 29 is worth taking hits over, to be honest. If you've got 8 or 9 players, that's good enough. That really is good enough. It's not going to be a high-scoring game week. I don't think any player is standing out to me as like, oh, I think that player is going to score really highly. Obviously, Kane is a good shout because he's premium, but even he's playing against Aston Villa, who just seem to be so good at keeping clean sheets and keeping the scores low. They really do. So it's difficult, and I don't want to throw myself at game week 29 too much and ignore other game weeks. For example, game week 30, where we could have a double game week for Everton and Aston Villa. So in that case, I'd probably quite like to keep DCL, if that was the case. I'd probably quite like to maybe go for more Aston Villa players, if that were the case. But at the same time, I find myself very fearful of game week 29 and Kane, because I want to have Kane. I really do want to have Kane for game week 29. So I'm waiting to see if this fixture is rescheduled or not. If it's not rescheduled and there's no double game week 30, then I'm not going to do a transfer this game week. So this is all I can assume I'm doing right now, really. I'm not going to make a transfer this game week. And then next game week, in game week 29, I'm going to have 2 free transfers, and I'm going to use them to take out DCL, take out Salah. I'm going to bring in Harry Kane, and I'm going to bring in another player who plays in game week 29, probably a Aston Villa player, just in case that I do get late news or something on the Aston Villa double game week. It could happen. And maybe go for an Aston Villa midfielder, depending on who I think is going to start, who I think is going to score well. So I've got my eye on a few players, but I don't want to commit to anything right now, guys. So I'm not even going to speculate. But I've got my eyes on a few players. So that is basically how I'm going to line up. No transfers this game week, guys. That's kind of my thinking. I would quickly change and probably bring in sort of like Ezri Konsa if it does turn out that we're going to have a double game week for Aston Villa in game week 30. I'll probably double up on the Aston Villa defence there, and that will also obviously give me another player for game week 29. And I would probably bring in a Spurs midfielder, maybe Gareth Bale, for example, for game week 29 as well. And maybe try and find a way to get to Kane in game week 30 instead for a final 1 week punt, but we'll see. I'm not going to think it's too far down the line. I've made the mistake a lot of times of trying to speculate on double game weeks and things like that, and it doesn't get scheduled in the way that I thought it would, and then suddenly I can't pull out. I've already committed. I'm sure some of you guys have been in that situation where you can't pull out, you're already committed. And baby, that's what you get. So guys, quickly on captaincy, let's just throw it on KDB, because honestly, he just performed really well. And even though I don't love the fixture, at the end of the day, when you have a premium player, a real class act player, you can back them against anyone. It doesn't really matter who the opposition is. And at the end of the day, Man City are in really good form. They're the best attacking team in the league. So even if you say Fulham are a fairly good defence, against the best attacking team in the league, you kind of got to say, well, I mean, you're still probably going to concede a couple of goals. And I do back KDB to be involved in those goals. I'm not expecting a haul, like a mega haul. But there's definitely, he's definitely the one I've got my eye on the most out of the players on the pitch right now. Salah is going to have the vice captain. Just because, statistically speaking, underlying stats, it looks good. But I don't have the guts to actually go for Salah. Could be an interesting differential if you do fancy that. But I don't trust Salah right now. Personally, maybe you do. KDB, still differential. I got him in early, ahead of the crowd. Got those points early on. Not many people are going to be able to find a way to get him into their teams. A lot of people thinking about Game Week 29. KDB doesn't play in Game Week 29, so a lot of people will be a little bit hesitant, maybe, about getting KDB in. And basically, hopefully advantage me by going for that differential. But we'll see. It's a pretty good team. There's a lot of risks in here, as there is every game week at the moment. But you've got to be in it to win it, guys. You don't take a risk. You know, you can't move up. You can't move up if you don't take a risk. So I'm absolutely fine with it. We're going to try and hold 2 transfers unless there are fixtures announced, our new double game weeks announced. Then that might change things. I'll talk about that obviously in my deadline stream if things do change. But for now, no transfers. 2 transfers next game week, and we're going to go for Harry Kane in game week 29. That's it, guys. That's what we are saying. Thank you for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, please do give a big thumbs up on the video. It really helps out the channel, and subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, really appreciate it. Check out OneFootball if you fancy it. If you want to follow me on Twitter, please do, because I'm almost at 10,000 followers on Twitter. Would be really cool if I could get to 10,000 followers on Twitter. So go check that out. Link in the description. Instagram, mini league, all the other stuff is in there as well if you fancy that. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. See you later, mates. Bye-bye.